ThaBoxingvoice.com, Ring Walk Danny here in Las Vegas with the WBO Super Welterweight Champion of the World, Tszyu. Tim, how you feeling, champ? In camp for another one, and a big one at that.
Yeah, day by day, you know. It's good to be in Vegas now, so plugging along, waiting for the big day.
Now, we were discussing earlier, obviously, you've been in Vegas for the last several camps, but this is the first one in a while where you're in Vegas. You're fighting in America and actually fighting in Vegas at that. So, no real adjustment. How much more are you able to focus on training because of that?
Yeah, you know, traveling back and forth, it's always it's a pain in the ass. So to be able to say, you know what, I'm stuck here now, based here, and I don't have to move until after the fight. It's a good feeling, you know. There's no breaking it up.
Right, no break in training. You're able to just keep everything going.
Yeah.
Now, recent interview that Keith Thurman did with their own Nestor Gibbs, I felt like he was taking indirect shots at you. Obviously, the belt isn't on the line for this one, but the WBO has came out and said that if you lose, that you will be stripped. In the interview, he called it the WB no. He said that they're not recognized in many countries, even though they're recognized here in America. You know, do you feel disrespected when he takes those shots at you, or do you just think that he's doing it as part of the character and part of the build-up to the fight?
I don't know, man. The bloke's he says things out of hand, you know. He doesn't know what he's saying at times, you know. And I remember during the whole Manny Pacquiao beat-up, he was calling Manny Pacquiao T-Rex arms, and look what T-Rex arms did to him, you know. So a WBO belt is recognized as a world title. It's just facts now, you know. We're in not a three-belt era anymore, you know. To be called the undisputed world champion, it's 4 belts, and it's WBO is a part of it.
Absolutely. He feels that he's able to use the layoff as an advantage. Obviously, you had 3 fights last year. You've had enough time off since your last performance that did go the distance, but it was a dominant win for you. How do you feel the layoff will play a factor? Do you think it plays into your hands since you've been the active fighter?
I feel like it's a part of an excuse to be made for the future, you know, and I don't want excuses, you know. So hopefully, as he's saying that it's a time for him to be refreshed. Let's keep it at that. Don't use it as an excuse.
Now, talk to us. Obviously, I know you can't give too many secrets, but what's the training been like? What's the normal training day here in Vegas for you?
It's just smart training, you know, going through the motions, getting them rounds in. The main goal is to be smart, to be super fit, to be crisp, and to be ready to go on fight night, you know. So I'm just putting in the work, as I always am, you know. As soon as my fight finishes, I'm back in the gym a couple of days after, and it's just it's a non-stop grind. This is a lifestyle for me.
Now, he feels that the weightlifting that he's doing right now in camp will really show come fight night, and that his power will carry up and be present in the ring. Obviously, you helped Manny prepare for that fight, and you've seen him fight. What type of power do you expect? Are you expecting a power that you haven't seen before, or are you expecting something that you've been in the ring with before?
He's saying that he's got all this power, but when's the last time he knocked someone out? Knocks someone down?
I think it's been 9 years.
There you go,
I think 2015.
Numbers don't lie.
2015 was the last time he got stopped.
Numbers don't lie. Yeah. So hopefully he comes in blown up like a bodybuilder, you know, and they'll help him inside here mentally.
Mentally.
You know? Yeah.
Something that we've seen with Keith is the layoffs, right? He had one going into the Pacquiao fight, had another one going into the Barrios fight, has one in this fight going in with you. Is there anything out of those 2 fights that you're able to kind of learn from? Because obviously people talk about Keith and the Danny Garcia and the Sean Porter fight, but I think we haven't seen that Keith in quite some time. What do you really expect? Do you take from the Pacquiao and the Barrios fight?
Nah, not really. You know, in all honesty, we all got different styles, and it's all about when two styles collide, what's going to happen. You know, Pacquiao is a complete different fighter to me. Same as Barrios. I bring something completely different to the table. What Keith is thinking that's with someone else might not work with me. You know, so styles make fights.
Now, you're a fighter, and I know you haven't had the layoffs that he's had, but, you know, we saw it in the Barrios fight. He said going in fight week, he's like, you know, I knocked all the ring rust in the gym. I won't have any ring rust come fight night. And then after the fight, he's like, you know, I did have a little ring rust. I wasn't able to knock it off in the gym. How much do you think he's gonna be able to knock it off and prepare for?
See what you just said. That just proves to me that what he says before is not the same energy that he brings to the ring and after. You know, he starts questioning. You know, so all of this persona that he's putting on and he's saying to himself and that he's going to be a bodybuilder, it's all to psych himself up. It's all to make him feel better. You know. That's how I see it. It's quite simple.
Now, I have to ask, I covered the Thurman and Barrios fight, and the week of, there was some contradicting, not even reports. I mean, it came out of Thurman and Barrios' mouths respectively. Thurman claimed that Barrios requested 10-ounce gloves. In the state of Nevada, if both fighters agree from 135 above, you can fight in 10-ounce gloves, and Barrios claims it was Thurman that requested the 10-ounce gloves. I'm curious, do you know what size gloves you guys will be fighting in come March the 30th?
154.
Oh, so it has to be 10.
To be 10. Yeah.
Has to be 10. Oh, shit, that's right. That's right. It has to be 10. Shit, that's right.
There's a reason why in the boxing rules it goes from 147 from 8 ounce to 154 to 10 ounce. There's a reason for that.
That's right. It has to be 10. Damn. Yeah, it's at 55. It's at 55. I mean, obviously with Thurman, you know, just used to seeing them at 47. He has fought at 54 before, and he actually beat a former world champion in Carlos Quintana. That was about 10 years ago. In the amateurs, he's beat the likes of Demetrius Andrade at 152 pounds. Does any of that matter to you?
Nah,
does any of that go, like, do you even bother to go look at that fight he had at 154? Or it was so long ago that it's irrelevant?
Don't focus on the past. We've got to focus on the present.
On the right now.
You know, what you were 10 years ago doesn't mean what you are now. And it's the work that you put in to get to this position. And that's the best thing about boxing. When we get in that squared ring, it's who cares what's happening in the future? Who cares who you are as a person? It's just you and your opponent at that present time.
Now, obviously, the belt isn't on the line, but this is the biggest name that you have faced thus far in your career. Not to look past Keith Thurman, but you know, a lot of people feel that the winner of this fight gets a big fight next. You know, gets potentially a Terrence Crawford opportunity, something along those lines. Do you feel that beating Keith Thurman does put you in that position of a mega fight, or maybe a Charlo is out there? You know, just a Lubin fight. You know, even though Lubin I know hasn't been champion, but I still think that Lubin is a big fight and a tough fight for anybody.
Yeah.
So, do you think that beating Thurman puts you in that position?
Yeah, it's definitely a big name, you know, and it's on a big platform. It's a big startup, Amazon Prime, you know. So the whole event and the whole magnitude of this fight, it just becomes bigger and bigger because there's so much on the line, you know. For one of us, it becomes a window of opportunity, you know. So I'm gonna grab it with both hands, man, because I know what's on the line and what's in the future. You know, it's big.
What does this win mean for Australian boxing? Obviously, mega pay-per-view here in Las Vegas, kicking off a new network, and honestly, kicking off what in America we're looking as the new world in sports and streaming, right? So Thursday Night Football, they've went over to Amazon Prime and have done record-breaking numbers back-to-back years. You know, so we're excited for the sport and what this could mean for boxing, and obviously everybody over there at PBC. But where does this put you in terms of Australian boxing after March 30th is said and done?
I think we'll be in a golden platform, golden stage of Aussie boxing era. You know, it's been a long time coming. You know, the last time was my dad and Jeff Fennick representing in that worldwide level, you know, so I'm glad to be doing this, and, you know, I'm just a kid from Aussie who's having a go at the big dreams, the big lights, you know, and it's all happening.
Now, obviously, right now you just mentioned your father and Jeff, good friend of mine, but there has been guys, you know, like Horn and Kambosos along the way, but it seems like they really weren't able to hold on to it and reign, right? They've been able to get the big fights in Australia and bring big fights home, but they haven't really been able to hold on and reign. You've been able to get your fights in Australia. I'm still waiting for that big stadium fight, you know. I think a fight with, you know, a Crawford out there, or even a Jermell Charlo out there. Once Jermell gets, I think those fights would be stadium fights out there. But what do you think it's gonna take for you to be able to hold it, unlike Horn and unlike Kambosos, and be able to reign like your father and like Jeff were able to do?
I don't know, man. My belief in myself, I just feel like I'm different, you know. Like when I look at my weight division, it's like, it's not intimidating, and like the last year it's sort of like cleaning out everyone that's really in the way, and there was only one name that I've been chasing, was Charlo last year, and you know, he kept pulling up, kept postponing, and then he got the Canelo fight, so it was non-stop for me. What could I do? I just kept going through the names and whoever was on the list, so nothing makes me real different to any boxer besides what I have here. It's quite simple, you know, what I got here.
He thinks that, or Thurman has said that, you know, his experience, his ring IQ will show that, you know, he believes that he's worlds above you in that aspect when it comes to ring IQ and the experience. What do you say to that? Because obviously, you know, there's work, there's preparation put in, you know. Do you believe he's right, or do you think that because of the preparation that your ring IQ and your experience will show?
Yeah, people, like, they really underestimate me, man. Like, I'm not easy to hit, and my IQ is like, I'm 10 levels above you, and I'm quicker than you would have thought. I punch harder than I thought, you know. So all of these questions are for him to feel once fight night happens, you know. And all of this stuff that he's saying now, that's just all for him to make himself feel better, as you said previously, you know, about his layoff. It's all to psych himself up.
Tim, you know, to be quite honest with you, you made me a believer. You know, you did. There was a fight that I didn't think you were gonna pull it off. I'm like, you know, I think he's trying to bite more than he can chew, and you proved me wrong. And I remember in the build-up, it was the Harrison fight. In the build-up for the Harrison fight, one of your sparring partners, which I will not name, told me, he's like, yo, you think it's gonna be easier than what it really is. He's like, when you're in there with him, he's like, those shots you just don't see coming. Those shots are quicker than what you think. That distance isn't what it seems. He's like, everything with Tim is a bit stronger, a bit quicker, and, you know, a bit harder than what people think. I've obviously seen you since that, and seen you in the gym, seen you spar, and I think that you've displayed skills in the gym that we haven't seen in the ring. Why do you think that is?
I think there's certain things that you need with certain opponents. You know, everything that has been put in front of me, I've been able to sort of dispose. But there's certain opponents that bring out a different type of beast in you. You know. And there's different elements that I bring to each opponent, you know, so it's finding these right opponents and just bringing the best out of me.
Now, again, on paper, this is your biggest and toughest fight. Keith Thurman, obviously being two-time world champion. What type of work do you need to bring in, and what type of work have you brought in to help you prepare for March 30th?
Yeah, I just got to be fresh, man. I just got to be fresh, nice and loose. And nice and fit. You know, it's quite simple. I've learned more about my body. I've been pushing myself non-stop, freshened up a little bit, and I'm ready to go that next extra bit now. And I'll be come fight night, I'll be firing from all angles. And what you said before, he's quicker than I thought. He's harder than I thought. I can't hit him as much. This is all the questions that I'm gonna answer.
Now, you just said he'll be coming from all angles. Keith Thurman believes he'll be coming from all angles and throwing from all angles. Do you prepare for those shots in sparring to get you ready for the fight? Or?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. Like, I've sort of fighting out of Australia and fighting a lot of domestic fighters there in my first, let's say, 3-4 years. That's what Aussies are about. They bring a style where it's just tough. You hit them, they throw these shots. They're not conventional, purist boxers, you know. And the question when I fought Harrison was, what's Tim gonna do against a fighter who's got great boxing skills, who's got a perfect jab, who's light on his feet, and you know that was something that I brought that people don't expect. But Keith Thurman, he's a mover, he's a brawler, he throws these unconventional fighters. Something that I've been fighting my whole life.
Something we've seen in a few fights is some people look at it like vulnerability. Some people look at it like Keith showing he has a good chin, good legs, but we've seen him have to remove that mouthpiece in a few fights. And I guess you could look at it like he ain't going down, so, you know, he's being resilient. Kudos to him. But, you know, again, some look at it like vulnerability.
Yeah.
How do you see that, and do you think that you'll be able to work that body come fight night?
Oh, I think it's going to be a variety, man. It's going to be a variety of shots. It's not just the body. It's going to be something that he's never felt before. And when he feels like spitting the mouth guard out, I'll make sure that it stays inside.
Now, although he's took it out, he ain't been stopped. You know, obviously only lost to Pacquiao, but Mario Barrios had him take it out, as did Pacquiao. Josecito had him hurt in a round or two. You know, he's had his moments. What's gonna set Tszyu apart, though?
Just yet. What sets me apart? He's never felt anything like this. Again, he hits harder than I thought. He's quicker than I thought. That's all the questions I'm about to answer, and he doesn't know what's coming. It's like a lion catching a gazelle. He doesn't know what's coming.
It's like a lion catching a gazelle. I like that. Well, look, I appreciate the time. Do you believe Keith Thurman switches his energy after the fight?
Oh, 100%. Mark my words now.
So you think at the very least he'll give you your just due and your credit?
100%.
Okay.
He'll come in competitive because he's got balls and he's got a heart. But when he feels it, man, he'll be squealing. Let's just say that.
We saw that in the Pacquiao fight. Came in real high, real competitive. Got countered and dropped in that first round. Are you expecting that, and are you working on those counters to because he's gonna come in explosive and you know, like you say, come in hot and energetic. Do you think you may be able to catch him in one of those moments?
I'm working not on game plans. I'm working on instinct. So when I see something, I just feel it, man. When you feel it, it just comes.
Well, cannot wait. This is the first interview for this camp. Look forward to getting obviously more content, more footage, and looking forward to the fight itself. Tim, thank you very much for the time, brother.
YouTube family, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us get to that 1 million subscribers. We're on the road to 1 million. And obviously, we have other great content on our Patreon channel. So since this video is over, head on over to our Patreon and check out all the exclusive content or right here on our YouTube members.